Good afternoon. Welcome to the June 1st City Council meeting. Commissioner Bankson will give us the prayer, pledge, and fact of the day.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for, again, this new month as we continue forward in the agenda for our city. We ask for your grace and your wisdom, Lord, that we would do things that are pleasing in your eyes and best for the whole of this city. We thank you for it, Father, and we give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, fact of the day. On June 1st, 1980, CNN, cable news network, the world's first 24-hour television news network, makes its debut. The network signed on from its headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, with a lead story about the attempted assassination of civil rights leader Vernon Jordan. CNN went on to change the notion that news would only be reported at fixed times throughout the day. Fact of the day. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Well, got a proclamation I want to present. Tell you to some of our unsung heroes out there that a job that's not an easy job. They do it every day with a smile on their face. But let me tell you, code enforcement, you can't imagine all the good things they do for us to keep our city looking like we want it, to keep things, up into the standards we expect. And not an easy job. And so we got with us today Lieutenant Brick and Officer Whitty that are going to accept this proclamation. But I want to read that to you for all of the hard work that these folks do for our city. Whereas code enforcement officers provide for the safety, health, and welfare of the citizens in this community through the enforcement of buildings, zoning, housing, fire safety, environmental, and other codes and ordinances. And whereas the work of code enforcement officers helps save lives and improve neighborhoods and quality of life for the citizens of Apopka. And whereas every day, assisted by support and program staff, they provide quality customer service to the public for the betterment of the community. And whereas code enforcement officers are unsung heroes that accomplish code compliance with their efforts and expertise. And whereas code enforcement officers are dedicated, well-trained, and highly responsible individuals who take their job seriously and are proud of their department and the local government within which they serve. And whereas the Florida Association of Code Enforcement has declared the first week of June be set aside by local government to honor and recognize their code enforcement officers. Now, therefore, I, Brian Nelson, Mayor of the City of Apopka, Florida, by the authority vested in me by the City of Apopka, do hereby proclaim June 6, 2022 through June 10, 2022 to be Code Enforcement Officers Appreciation Week. Thank you. Okay. Come on down, guys. Get a picture.
Yes, he does.
Yes, Lieutenant Brick just told me this morning he collected another $20,000. So he's making our city beautiful by stepping up and putting people into compliance with our city codes and ordinances. So thank you for what y'all do for Apopka. Next up, the concert series at the Apopka Amphitheater. Well, as you see, Radley Williams is not here this morning or this afternoon. He's out for 5 days. And so hopefully he will be here on Monday. So in his stead, I want to bring this up again because we need some direction. I just kind of brought it up at the last commission meeting, but I want to kind of get some direction. How do you guys want to move forward with this? So I know we've got 4 or 5 events that are planned already in the fall. We've got obviously we had the Philharmonic in December. We've got another one the first week of December. We've got a couple other bands coming in. They've already been booked. So the question is, do we want to just take on like the first and the third Wednesday, or first and third Saturdays of every month? Or do we want to leave it open and say that anybody can come in as long as they book it 90 days out, which is kind of the minimum that our promoter said would be, give him enough time to bring in a quality act. So the question is, do we want to say that we're going to keep free concerts on 2 Saturdays a month? Or do we want to just say we're going to, as we fill up, maybe we fill up 1 month that's all paid performances. So just want some direction so we can at least let him know which way we want to go. And I know, Commissioner Velasquez, it's a big deal for you, so I want to get your...
Well, I had a couple of the regular attendees that go to the concert, and they have approached me. So I had to kind of dispel the rumor that we were going to start charging for Saturday Sounds, which we are not.
Correct.
That will continue to be free. But I did explain to them that we tie up all the Saturdays with Saturday Sounds, and there have been promoters that have approached us. They would like to have a concert because they love the amphitheater, and it'd be a paid concert. So they understand that. So I think for the next season, it would be good if we can open up at least 2 Saturdays of the month and allow a promoter to come in and bring some of the, the acts that are interested. Because I have been approached where, can we bring so-and-so? I mean, I even have someone that said to me that they can work to bring Santana. So that'll be a great, if I can have a Saturday to bring Santana. So it's something we can work on. Okay. So absolutely, if we can have 2 Saturday Sounds, I don't know which Saturdays would be preferable.
Okay.
But absolutely.
But consistent, I just think we need to be consistent.
Right, consistent.
Yeah, okay. Commissioner Banks?
Yeah, I agree. This is a tremendous asset that we have as a city, and before it got the interest, we had talked about this, way back when, about seeding into it, being willing to put money into it to cause it to begin to generate interest. And now that it has, I think we need to make it open to those things. So having that balance, I think, is a great way. We serve our own people, but we really open it up. And I think it will continue to grow in its popularity because it's a world-class
Yep,
event
so,
center.
yes. Mr. Smith?
Well, I guess my only question is, do we have individuals that are interested that we need to leave 2 Saturdays open as opposed to leaving 1 Saturday a month open?
No, he said 2 Saturdays.
Yeah, no, but my question is, do we have enough interest to leave 2, or do we only need just leave 1 Saturday open?
Well, we've got 2 in December. We've got, I know, 1 in October and 1 in November. So it's a fair question. I mean, and you could say leave 2 open, and then if we wanted to, we could probably fill at the last minute if we did have a gap. I mean, that's a...
So 90 days out, if we don't have anybody that
Right,
has
we
required that 1 Saturday,
Correct.
we will have enough time to have
Correct.
the free
Yes,
concert?
yes.
Then I have no problem with it, too.
Okay. Commissioner Nesta?
Yeah, echo the same thing. I think it'd be a good balance, and to Commissioner Banks's point, that it's kind of self-sustaining at this point. That's what it was, trying to get the traction and having some paid events in there. I think it self-sustains it, and it's a huge value add to the city.
Yeah, because at the Apopka Jazz, I talked to the ladies after, their International Jazz Fest.
Right.
I said, did y'all have much pushback because it was a paid event? That was the first paid one we've had since I can't remember. And so I asked them, I said, well, I think they had 3 people that were upset that they thought it was free. I said, but that was it. So I said, okay, well, that makes me feel pretty good. So I think if we, do a good job, and Kelly will make sure we do a good job of, promoting that it's the first and the third Saturday or second and fourth Saturday will always be free unless, something spectacular comes our way, then I think we can absolutely make that happen. Okay. Well, good. Okay, well, that gives us something I can go back to the promoter and say, okay, that's kind of the way we want to head, and we'll, any preference, first and third or second and fourth, does it matter to anybody?
No.
Okay, okay. All
I
right.
think the first and third would be good.
First and third?
Yes.
First and third. Okay, got it.
How come-
Okay.
How come first and third, Commissioner Smith?
Well, I just felt like we had that gap in between, so if there was going to be a paid one, it would be second and the fourth. And then if not, we'll fill it with the free one.
I look forward to seeing you on our Saturday Sundays.
Oh, all right. Next up, we have with us the Miss Apopka, Victoria Sanza. Yes. And I guess her not mentor, what would you be, Christy?
PR.
I am assisting Rosie Morris as the competition director.
Director.
Yes.
So anyway, you know, she was at the Art and Foliage Festival. It was the first time we got to meet her, and we, you know, very impressed. And so I didn't know if you want to come up and give us a few words about what's coming up in the month of June.
Thank you, Mayor Nelson, for that beautiful introduction. So hello, my name is Victoria Sanza. I'm Miss Apopka 2022 for the Miss America organization. It's been a true honor to represent the city of Apopka. In fact, when I was first crowned, my family and I thought about the impact the city of Apopka has had on us. In fact, every contestant, every candidate for the Miss America organization has a social impact initiative. And mine is Music for Memories, which is about Alzheimer's awareness. So my grandmother battled Alzheimer's, and we actually had my grandmother in a retirement home here in the city of Apopka. So the city has had a massive impact on my family and our lives. So if you'd like to support me and our beautiful city for the Miss Florida competition, it is in Lakeland, Florida, June 20th to the 25th. So thank you very much.
And when you can introduce your family.
Oh, yes, my fabulous family. So you can see my wonderful dad in the back. His name is Peter. It's wonderful taking these videos. My mother is Joanne. They're all in the front. My sister, her name is Paulina, and my brother is John Paul, all the way in the corner.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Let me go ahead and get a picture of it.
You take a photo with her.
All right, so family, come on in, and Christy, come on in.
Absolutely.
All right, Miss Vladimir, software presentation. Just what we all wanted to hear about.
Good afternoon. My name is Vladimir Ortega, Finance Director for the City of Apopka, and I'm here to introduce my wonderful procurement team, Jessica, Giselle, and our new member, Tiffany. They're going to be talking about our software that the council approved last year and what wonderful it is to have that software for the city and for the public. And they're going to do an explanation of all the budget of 22, how is it going to be viewed by the public, what we have done, and our software for 23 and what we're doing with it. So with that, I'm going to introduce Jessica. He's our new city manager. She just got a promotion, and she will tell you all about our software, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as well as we are. Thank you.
When did that happen?
Purchasing manager? Not city manager. Hello, everybody. I am going to be summarizing the completion of our newly implemented budget software with Opengov today. Back in this last November, the City Council authorized the purchase and implementation of Opengov, which is budget software via state contract. We began that same month, actually, implementation in the Finance Department. The cost for the software was $55,737, and the yearly subscription is $43,786. Implementation has taken us about 6 months, and it included the creation of the online fiscal year 2022 budget, which has been published on the city website under the Finance Department. Training for the department staff to learn how to enter their budgets in Opengov was approximately 1 hour per department, and the fiscal year 2023 is currently in progress. To go over some highlights of the budget software, the first one is obviously digitalization. It has allowed us to create first-time online budget book, all within the GFOA-approved format. The public dashboards give our citizens the ability to interact and customize tables and graphs according to their preferences and needs. Transparency gives the public access to interactive graphs and schedules, which will facilitate tracking performance, forecasting, planning, and identifying strategic priorities. The ability for Opengov to integrate with our current financial software system will deliver regularly updated live data. And under organization and collaboration, we have a one platform for workflow that allows for the collaboration across all the departments in the city. It efficiently integrates data and facilitates all phases of the budget in a timely manner. Individual department pages enhance city brand and allow customization for each department to present their budget and data while keeping the public informed along the way. And so this next slide is actually going to be a video. It'll provide a demonstration of segments within the fiscal year 22 published budget, which is what is on our website currently. In the video, we didn't go through all the links, but we provided samples just to exhibit the content that's available throughout. So I'm going to go ahead and play. The online budget is now fully accessible online. The budget is broken into 6 separate sections: introduction and overview, personnel, supplemental information, fund summaries, departmental summaries, and capital improvement program. Each subsection links to an individual page that provides budgetary information composed of customized data and reporting. Under the introduction and overview section, the public will be able to see our elected and appointed officials. Or view our city goals and objectives. Under the personnel link, you can view general pay classifications. All tables are interactive and can be sorted based on the columns at the top of the table. You can also view public safety pay classifications and a summary of authorized full-time and part-time position changes from one fiscal year to the next. Under supplemental information, you can view miscellaneous statistical information, growth in population versus taxable assessed value, staffing history, municipal tax rates, acronyms, and the glossary. Under fund summaries and the general fund description and overview are listed at the top. The revenue summary includes interactive graph and tables that provide details that can be organized down to the department or the account lines. The expense summary also include interactive graphs and tables that provide details that can be organized down to the department or account lines. And the total general fund as well, both revenues and expenses. Under departmental summaries, public services indicates each department listed their divisions. Each division provides a description of their duties and function at the top of the page, an overview of the budget over the last 3 fiscal years, their goals, key performance indicators, and interactive budget graph and tables. The staff analysis is listed at the bottom. Under the capital improvement plan, there is an overview. This explains the how and why of our capital improvement program. Under Transportation Impact Fund, each project is listed over the next 5 years and its affiliated budget. The next table describes the improvements based on the type of expense. And the final table describes each project by the fund type. Okay, and for the next section, the video will provide a brief summary of some of the internal features that Opengov provides for the staff.
Before you go
Yeah.
on, Jessica, this is real time or almost real time. So somebody pulls up those numbers. So somebody wants to come from the public, say how many staff are, currently hired under that department. It's real time. Their budget to actual is real time.
So the software is integrated into our financial software system, and so daily there'll be an update, and so you'll be able to see those updates live.
So versus you see it once a year when we get ready for budgets.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then this next section is just the features that we utilize internally to actually create this budget each year. Our budget creation process internally shows the budgets from previous fiscal years as you build your new budget, provides a summary of the progress while budgets are being processed and created, creates customizable phases for different stages of budget creation, and allows for proposal creations for each department. The individual departments can express their highlighted budget items under background, analysis, recommendations, and supporting documents. Each department has a worksheet for every division, Each division worksheet populates all budgetary account lines and previews the previous fiscal year's budget amounts. Items can be added to each account line individually. Any items added will provide an update to the total proposed budget. Once all budget worksheets are complete, the department will submit their budget. Once budgets are entered, the difference in percentage changed are easily displayed. As you can see, the $200 that was entered on the previous screen displays on the front screen for $200. There are several phases. I did stop that a little early, but there are several phases that it records for each one of the budgets. They start out at the user phase, administrative phase. It goes to city council. The finance department works on the tentative budget, and then we do the final adopted budget. And so we just wanted to display to the council all of our hard work at the end for implementing the new budget software and kind of preview what it was capable of and that it was live and published on our website now. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Jessica?
Okay, so first, you just need to update the council to include Commissioner Nesta, because I saw that Commissioner Becker was still,
So the budgets actually reflect who is there when it was adopted.
Oh, okay,
So
so-
Commissioner Becker would be there, but Commissioner Nesta will be on fiscal year ’23.
so on the website where, you know how there's like a little search button? When they type in what they specifically want to look at, can they type it on the little search button and it'll take them directly to that, or do they have to go through the whole document?
I believe it should show up on budget. Did you get the answer to that question? I'll have to check on that, just to double check. We do, if you look on the finance department itself, you'll see financial services and budget, and we have a big, huge button that says fiscal year 2022 budget. But I'll double check on the actual search component to see if they can do that from the front page.
Okay, and so the other thing, and only because, I'm always going back and forth, so like, is there, sort of a, when you say next page, previous page, will it continue to do that without kicking you off and having to search for it again?
So if you hit a link to a department or a link on the front page.
Right, and then you hit like a next page or first page, is that been put in that program to allow someone to just go to the next page?
So the table of contents is set up where it's each individual, so it's not like a page by page that you would go through or
Right.
hit one link and you go through each page. There's a table of contents that redirects you back to the front page, and then you can go to individual departments, you can go to the capital improvement plan, whatever section that you need to. You can also press back if you needed to, and it'll bring you back to that landing page that you started at.
Okay,
So if you started at public services and went into the water plant or something and you pressed back, it would bring you right back to the public services landing page.
okay. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so it's just forward and back consequentially. Basically, whatever page you visit, it'll go back in that order.
Correct.
Commissioner Smith?
My only question was, will there be any special software required for the public to be able to see these documents and interact?
No, sir. It's all web-based.
Okay.
So as long as they can get to the internet, they can get to the budget.
Just really happy we're using this technology. Love that anytime that we're improving the systems and transparency, I think it's great. So thank you. And thank you for your help today on my questions. I appreciate
no
it.
worries. You're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.
And congratulations on your promotion.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just need to give kudos to my team. This is the team that did this transition, and I want you to think this was nothing. This was basically from scratch. These numbers were pulled from a system to another system, from lines to squares to graphics. I mean, we worked really hard for months to make sure that our 22 was submitted last Friday to FGFOA for the process of approvals and awards. It's the first time we send it to them digital. So it's a great accomplishment for the city. And now working with the directors and the training that we did for a day to all the directors, our budgets are working on a digital system. It's a great accomplishment for the city and for this team, so I'm very proud.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work. And the nice thing is now it's going forward, it'll be pretty much automatic. So that's, yeah, but you have to do it once. You got to make that manual conversion from one system to another. And so, yeah, they worked really hard, a lot of hours to put in to get us to where we are. But thank you to the team and good work. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Chief McKinley, or is it? And Chief Wylam and Mr. Hippler.
Love your support too, Rob. I asked him if he was speaking. He said, good luck. Mayor, commissioners, good afternoon. As you recall, during last budget session, we all approved and agreed to move forward with a needs assessment for a public safety building that would incorporate Police Department, Fire Station 1, Information Technology Unit or Division, and also the Communications Center, as well as some ancillary things that go along with it. We formed a committee, and with the help of Vladimir's wonderful staff that's walking out the door there, we put an RFQ, request for qualifications, out on the street. Numerous organizations responded to the RFQ. The committee selected Architectural Design Group based on their experience and knowledge and what they have presented to the committee. So with us today is Mr. Ian Reeves from Architectural Design Group, and he's going to go over the needs assessment that was done.
Before you do that, can y'all just kind of talk about the amount of time you three put into, giving him input and I guess even other staff members as to.
Well, I think he's going to go into some of that.
Okay.
But, with his help, of our staff, they reached out to our staff, they conducted surveys, and they went through a methodical method to review what our needs were, not just from the chiefs and the directors, but all the way down to the staff that are going to use the building to make sure that our needs were going to be met. I think up to 2045 is the goal here, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Reeves.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, thank you all for having us here today. We appreciate the opportunity you afforded us to work with the city on this planning study. As Chief McKinley said, it's been several months worth of data gathering. Our process was pretty exhaustive. I'll walk through that briefly. We've got a quick agenda. We're going to focus on the actual process and the results. And then the way it started was we established and asked supervisory level representatives of each unit within each of the departments to complete a detailed questionnaire about their existing working conditions. What do they have? What do they feel they need? Typically for us, I mean, this is like our 388th.
You can sit down if y'all want. You don't need to stand up.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done this, almost 400 of these planning studies for city and county governments across the United States. So for us, the questionnaire is really to ask staff to start to take a mental inventory of their existing working conditions. What works, what doesn't work, what technology and equipment could they use that would make the delivery of service that's already at a very high quality even more efficient for them, so the planning could improve upon the quality of service. We got significant amount of input. As Chief McKinley said, we asked for opportunities to not just talk with the command staff. We wanted to talk with everybody throughout, and so that took quite a bit of time. But in all due fairness to everybody in each of the four departments, nobody knows better what they need in their day-to-day operational life than they do. Our job, as we see it as a planning and design consultant, is to provide them with the most efficient working environment possible, and that's our goal. So in this questionnaire process, it finally resolved itself, and we got through multiple renditions of it. And the reason for that was 2 or 3 times, we asked the chiefs to go back and look at it and make considerations of how could we decrease the overall size of the development, but make it even enhanced in terms of its operational capabilities. And what I mean by that is if Chief Wylam needs a 2,000 square foot training room, and Chief McKinley's team needs a 2,000 square foot training room, instead of doing 2 of those, why don't we do one at 3,000? Save the taxpayers $400 a square foot on 1,000 square feet, and yet both departments get a larger venue for training, and it's just a scheduling issue. So I would commend your chiefs and Mr. Hippler and everybody that was involved in their willingness and very, very much supportive of that process of finding multi-purpose space and shared space. So that's not always the case for us. Sometimes they don't want to work together, but these gentlemen did. So that's kudos to them. And this process is the result is a room-by-room identification of every space in the new building that would be proposed. And this is just the executive summary. The 4 components that are made up by this study: Apopka PD headquarters, 911 communications, Apopka fire administration, fire station, and the IT department, which would move into a hurricane-hardened building with critical infrastructure redundancies that will support its daily operation during and immediately after any major event, such as a hurricane. So you will have your core first responders and infrastructure protected, so you all can remain operational. So that was one of our key goals. So we established in the report 3 different development options, A, B, C. Development option A plans out 10 to 15 years, which we would not recommend. We think the city, with an investment of this magnitude, would want to look further out in the future. There's the old adage that you should never have to do anything to a public building until the original debt service has been expired, right? That's good planning. So development option B takes that 15-year window of growth and bridges it out to 20 to 25 years. But it's not finished out space. The space is available within each unit of each department to grow into. But we're not building walls, we're not buying furniture until we have bodies to put in those spaces. And that affords the city flexibility in the evolution of how the spaces will grow to reflect the needs of the community and the services that the departments will provide. That's a good option. Development option C goes ahead and finishes out all that additional space now, but our recommendation would be for development option B. So you're planning for the future, but you're not finishing it out today. With that, because these are not inexpensive buildings, this is always kind of an educational process. These are buildings that are going to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. As such, the building systems, all the lighting, the mechanical and ventilation systems, security provisions, technology, as well as the finishes, need to be of a higher robust investment. So the adage there would be, after 12 months, you've already used this building for 3 years in terms of a regular life cycle of a standard office building, such as a city hall or where we would work. So they're very critical, not to mention the infrastructure redundancies that they have to meet the hurricane code guidelines for a first responders facility per the state of Florida building code. So we'll have redundancies built in with generators, fuel tanks, fuel pumps, and air conditioning systems, especially for the data center, okay? The costs are upwards of $56 million as projected. And in the back of the report that was submitted, there's greater detail and breakdown, but it's about $400 a square foot as a blended rate. And that's gonna give the city about an 18 to 24 month window to sign a construction contract. Beyond that, we can't project. So there's escalation costs included in these values. There's allowances for your furnishings, fixtures, and equipment. We conducted a detailed assessment on the technology requirements. There's an allowance in there to cover all the technology. There's an allowance in there for permitting and impact fees. There's an allowance in there for just about everything we could think of. So the numbers that we're providing to you all today, and eventually you all will be asked to make an informed decision based upon our turnkey development costs. So you have what you will need. And we've already concluded that development option B would be your planning team's recommendation. So you're planning for the future, but keeping that flexibility for how you evolve in the manner in which you provide services, because it will change rapidly in 20 years, I can assure you. The timeline for such is the next plan, or the next option would be to develop a funding strategy, whether you sell a bond, whether you pursue any grants to supplement a bond, all of the above. Because usually what happens is our council that we work for will adopt a development option, and the first thing they do is turn to the planning director and say, or excuse me, the finance director, and say, how can we make this happen? So we need to know how to do that. Your procurement division that just left is working, I believe, on their RFQ. The study is complete. The RFQ will be for your architecture and engineering team to come on board and utilize the planning study to start designing your facility and possibly looking at expanded site development considerations, okay? Once you get them on, as I said, they'll start the design. Concurrent with them starting the design, the city should consider releasing the second RFQ, the final one, for a construction manager or a general contractor. Our recommendation to the city today is a construction management delivery system, because you're gonna have an opportunity to work with their pre-construction team that works with the user groups as the police, fire, communications, and IT, as well as your design team. And they're involved with all those meetings, understanding what the specialized nuances of a facility of this type include, but they're also the primary reason for their benefit is they're doing real-time cost estimating throughout the design, so the budget is adhered to consistently, and you don't get to the end and realize there's a budget shortfall, or even worse, you need to pull things out that are operationally required or necessary. And they're also doing constructability reviews. With the volatility of the construction industry that we're experiencing right now, due to a lack of manufacturing and delivery and labor, what we used to think of as the most cost-effective building framing systems, structural steel versus concrete, different types of roofing, aren't necessarily what's affordable now, because they're either not available or they're available, but they're going to adversely affect our construction schedule, elongating the schedule. And as we all know, the longer we have our builder partners on site, the more it costs the city. So we want to do an effective schedule, and that effective schedule may mean purchasing a different framing system that may cost 5% more, but we're saving 10 to 12% in the duration of this construction schedule. So we have to collectively, as a team, whomever you do select, work together and identify what those situations are, what the options are, and move forward the most cost-effective approach possible. Okay? We anticipate design and permitting should take 10 to 12 months. Okay? That is controllable. The construction schedule is much more difficult to identify. We're estimating, based on input from multiple local qualified construction management firms, that they could build it in 14 to 18 months, depending on how the industry proceeds in terms of manufacturing, delivery, and labor. And we recommend, because of the sophisticated nature of this type of structure and all the equipment with the data center and 911 communications, that you plan on your schedule for a 2 to 3 month building commissioning period after the construction is completed. That's to work through all of the bells and whistles and glitches that the technology comes with, making sure that that building is fully operational, especially with 911. We're going to have both sites, existing and new site, up and running for a minimum of 4 to 8 weeks before we do our final cutover. And that's a major ordeal, because nothing can go wrong at that point. And if you do that and you plan for it appropriately, I think you'll have a wonderful project for the long-term 50-year future for the city to improve upon the quality services these departments already provide to the community, and then build upon that. So that's the conclusion.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nesta?
When I met with your team yesterday, and absolutely loved the idea of this, the project of this. The one thing I just said is, look, I feel like we're squeezing in a little bit too much on this site already, but we're kind of constrained to this site. It needs to be this site. So with that being said, too, my only other concern was the current building that the police department is in. I know there's discussions of possibly, I guess, reusing that in some capacity, or or something, I would not want to reuse that building. It's very aged. So I'd like to, if we're going to do this, do it right up front the first time and make sure that we're taking that space, knocking that down, and starting fresh so that it's all brand new building for all 4 departments that are going in there.
No, that, if we kept the police building, would not be for the public safety, it'd be for something different, so.
And that just goes to the point too. I would want
Okay.
that to not
Okay.
not be there because I feel like they're already getting a lot of constraints on that site as it is. So, but otherwise, love it. I think it's great, and I think just being in the real estate side of things, the sooner we start this, the better to lock in these costs. So, whatever we can do to move forward, I think it's a great plan.
Commissioner Smith?
I like the presentation that we've been presented, and my only concern was, and you've addressed that already, is the moving from the old building to the new building. And so since there is going to be a transition period, I think that's going to be covered. I like the plan, and hey, let's go.
Awesome. Commissioner Mason?
Yeah, I remember back in 2016, I think the future plan of this was 25 million, and now it's more than double that. So the sooner the better, because, we wait that much longer. Is it going to be a $100+ million building? I like the Plan B because the shell cost, again, we're getting that in today's dollars, and then we're just building it out. So that's still going to save us in the long run and give us the capacity for a longer-term usage. And so I agree with that. I think that's the right way to go. Now we just need to find $56.5 million.
Commissioner Velasquez?
Hi, well, you sat with all of us and you gave us a very detail of what the future is going to be for this building. So the only thing that I will kind of piggyback on is that we'll wait until the design is in and see how the building's going to look. But as far as the building that's in existence right now for the police department, that'll be something we can decide at that time. Will it fit the aesthetics or the landscaping with the new building? But I do understand that building, I know that we've treated it already a few times or a couple of times for, the infestation of termites. So, and it really is an old building that I think has been worn out, and we're just kind of putting Band-Aids on it just to kind of make it workable for the staff that we have now. And again, you've explained that it will be in operation while the new facility will be built. So I figure at that time we can make that decision as to what we're going to do with the older building. But if it's not going to be conducive or, health and the environment of it right now, I would like to see that building kind of demolished. And then we can use something else in that footprint. But that is something we can decide down the road. But absolutely, I agree with going with Plan B.
And just to throw on there as well, I think as we approach this, I agree as far as that building usage. My understanding when we met was that it would be used for transition, and then once we were able to move into the new, that the other would be gone. Is that?
Yes.
Well, the development concept that we created to vet the information in the report that was in our scope did a single move management. So we didn't have to temporarily relocate the police department and that expense,
Right.
that you walk away from the investment for all the security and technology that you would put into a temporary facility. And because of the site size limitation and the parking requirements, we felt that would be a perfect location for the public parking in a plaza that the community could use, and the public access area would be right off of the plaza. There's a large community meeting room planned in the public lobby, public access areas that the community would be able to use at the discretion of the city. But that was just the concept that we had prepared to vet, to make sure that the program amount, square footage-wise, parking, that we could make it work, and we vetted that.
As far as the funding side, first of all, I'm glad that we have really attacked our debt load to bring that down. So, I'm just going to be curious, what is that going to be on a monthly ongoing basis once we get it there? Because then that's going to affect future budgets for other things that we need. So
Yep.
anyway, I'll look forward to us pursuing our
Good.
funding.
Well, Ian, thank you, and I
Yes,
want to thank the team that, our police and fire chief and Rob Hippler for, you put a lot of hours in with those guys and got a good plan, and so I appreciate, all the hard work y'all put into this, so.
It's been a
thank-
pleasure working
thank-
with your
Thank you
team.
so much,
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
All
Thank you for the time you provided or gave us for this explanation. Thank you, I
pleasure.
appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Michael, any changes to the agenda?
Well, actually, before we do agenda review, it's on
Oh,
the
I'm-
agenda, but we never approved the minutes of May 18th.
I'm sorry, yep. Go back to the minutes. Any changes to the minutes?
Yes. On the minutes, ordinance 2906 and 2907, it states that I was present and that I voted on it, and of course, I did not vote on that. The meeting started without me after the break, so those two should reflect that I was not present for the vote.
All right, with those corrections, motion to approve the minutes?
Okay. So I'll make the motion to approve the minutes with the correction to read that ordinance 2906 and 2907 does not have the vote of Velazquez, Commissioner Velazquez.
Got a motion by Commissioner Velasquez.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. All
And there are
right.
no changes to the
No
agenda.
changes to the agenda. All right, public comment. Susan?
Rod Olson, 3156 Rolling Hills Lane, Apopka. First, I want to thank all of you for what you do and representing us and taking care of business. The primary reason I wanted to speak today is to thank you all for Saturday Night Sounds. It's been a wonderful, wonderful venue. I've only missed a handful of them due to my granddaughter's soccer games. But the music, the variety is wonderful. I can't sing, I can't dance, and I can't play an instrument, and I appreciate people that do. And it's been a wonderful venue. I'm retired. I like free, so thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sylvester Hall, 3091 Rolling Hills Lane, Apopka, Florida, 32712. I want to share my neighbor, my friend, comments about Saturday Sounds. I was able to attend about 4 of them so far, and especially the last one with the Motown, one before the last. It was great. Everybody was out there. They was enjoying themselves. So I really appreciate that. Hopefully, we can get those back. But I want to share something with you. You may agree or you may not agree, but I'm just trying to share my feelings and my concerns as a citizen. I want to talk about decorum. The last meeting we had where we discussed ordinance, I think it was 2931, and I try to sit back, kind of not be judgmental, but I try to see things for what they are. Now, I feel like, and I'm just sharing to you my personal feelings, I felt like I was personally attacked. Matter of fact, the only meeting I have missed this year, I was on a cruise celebrating my 37th anniversary with my beautiful wife, and I got a text saying, hey, this ordinance 2931 was to silence you. It was to silence me, and that's the way I feel like I was personally attacked. Myself and a couple others that come in here and say things that may make you feel uncomfortable, which is your job. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. But it's your job to listen to the people and the people's concerns and their complaints. And by all means, if you have the power to do it, do it. The other young lady that was here the other meeting who left for Apopka, I felt so sorry for her. We had prior meeting to that where we said we was going to take care of that expense. So how did it get to that level? And when we're talking about decorum for the public, I look at how we conduct ourselves. Commissioner Velasquez said we started a meeting, they voted, put it in the minutes, and she wasn't even here. Attorney Rodriguez, when you're talking about decorum, he got up when things weren't going his way, very violently pointed at Commissioner Vasquez. That was very disrespectful, and it was very undecorum-like. And so when you say, hey, look, the public can't come here and call you out, I can't come here and say, Commissioner Nestor, hey, look, you did this and it made me feel uncomfortable, that's a problem. My good friend Rod Olson said, this is not the place to call people out. Well, I don't look at it as calling people out. And I disagree. If you can't do it here, where can you do it? I look at it as holding you accountable for do the job that we selected you to do, the job that you raise your right hand and say, hey, look, you would defend the Constitution of the United States, and you will serve the people, all people equally. And that's what I'm here to hold you accountable for. If you go back to the very first meeting of this year and listen to some of my comments, then you will see why I'm here. I'm here to speak for the people who can't speak for themselves or for the people who feel intimidated to come here and speak. That's why I'm here, and I will be here for the rest of my life. Mr. Rodriguez, he was very adamant about the public hearing certain things, getting Ordinance 2931. But when it comes to public speaking, public comment, that was taken out. The minutes, it was taken out, maybe 2-3 months. Who did it? We went back and forth. Well, somebody told Ms. Bone to take them out. So I ask, and I will continue to ask, that you serve all the people all the time.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Okay, anybody else, Susan? Good, thank you. All right, we have 8 items on consent. Anybody need to pull any of those items? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the 8 consent agenda items.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second by Commissioner Nesta. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, Golden Orchard plat.
Sure had all this together. Jim Hay, Community Development Director. This is the Golden Orchard plat. The owner is Lennar Homes. The applicant is Paulus and Bennett and GL Summit Engineering. This is located at 4550 Golden Gem Road. The future land use is mixed use. This is just the plat for the project that has already been approved by City Council on May 19, 2021, and the Development Review Committee did approve the construction plan on October 21st, 2021. Development Review Committee recommended approval of the plat. Planning Commission on May 10th, 2022 also recommended unanimously for the approval of the plat, and recommendation is for approval of the plat. This is normally put on for the consent agenda, but we thought for the first plat we'd keep it on for Mr. Nesta so that he sees a plat and actually gets a chance to review it rather than just doing a consent agenda item. So,
Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions for Jim? Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Sure, come on down. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Hi, my name is Jay Parker, and I live at 4505 Saddle Road. And some of you have seen me before. I've been to most of these meetings on this subject, as well as some private meetings. Thanks for hosting a meeting on Friday, Mayor Nelson. And really, I wasn't going to come today because I think they were kind of in conceptual alignment. But I thought I should show up and ask that, the changes to the plat that we discussed on Friday with Summit Engineering and Richard Earp, the city engineer, they're not complete yet. And so either, somebody should probably acknowledge that those things are going to be done prior to approval of the plat, or delay approval until we're downstream on getting those things done.
Sure, I think we can probably have him come up. If we've got an agreement, I think we can have Mr. Summit come up. Are we there? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Sure,
Friday
absolutely.
was fine. It was a good
Yep,
meeting.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it was informal.
Perfect.
And
Yeah,
today's
you
formal.
want to formalize. I get it. You got it.
Yeah.
Let me have him, Mr. Summit, come down and he will formalize the agreement we came up with on Friday.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, you got it.
So this meeting took place Friday, past Friday? What happened?
Yeah, the 27th, yeah. It was last Friday.
It was
The
last
mayor's office.
Friday?
Yeah, Jeff Summit, Summit Engineering, 3667 Simonton Place. So, yeah, in regards to the meeting, Mayor, I've talked it over with the client, we've talked it over with the contractor. I'm just in the process of clearing everything with St. John's with the second pond.
Okay.
But obviously, the east pond, we are going to relocate the weir to the south as discussed. And then we're looking at getting rid of the weir on the western pond, which was the agreement that we had.
You know,
on
I'm
Friday
sorry,
night.
I can't hear
I'm
what you're
sorry.
saying.
Is that better?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Hey, it's working. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we had two agreements, and it involved the outfall structures for both the ponds on the east side, the pond on the west side. So the agreement on the pond on the east side, which is, well, do I have a pointer here, Jim? Okay, the pond, that's this pond right here.
Uh-huh.
So we are going to relocate the weir from this location to point to the south towards Sadler Road. And then the second pond is up here, which was Mr. Parker's concern about the weir that came to the south here. So we're working with the contractor to eliminate that altogether. And I just have to get that cleared both by Richard Earp, the city engineer, and by the Water Management District. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now, is getting the paperwork finalized in regards to getting that change done.
Okay.
So is the plat that we're looking at accurate with those changes?
Yeah, the weirs aren't going to affect the plat because the tracks will stay the same.
Okay.
It's
just
strictly
location.
it's strictly a functionality issue. And in regards to the changes and where we go from here with the plat, we still have to finish construction. We're nowhere near done with the construction on site. We still have to get a CO from the city on the site work. So we still have mechanisms in place in regards to making sure things get taken care of. So that was my thought process in regards to process moving forward.
Okay.
Good, Commissioner Nessa? Okay,
Nothing else?
all right, Commissioner Smith? Good?
So does the motion need to reflect that as well?
Yes, the motion should reflect,
Because the
the
plat's the
changes.
same, but there's a, just
The
again,
change.
for, just to make sure that that's,
Belts and suspenders, sure. Yeah.
okay.
So we just want to make a motion that the weir on the, was it the,
that the weir be moved on the one and
Yeah.
removed on the second.
but we
One
have
ca-
to.
One caveat to that, I still have to get approval from the
At
Water
the-
Management District as
St.
well.
John's.
So
Yep.
it's not just the city I'm dealing with.
Right.
It's a third-party agency.
So, I'm sorry, you still have to get the approval from,
The Water Management District, so I'm going to have to modify that permit so that the plans are consistent, because I'm going to have an inconsistency with the as-built condition and the permitted set if I don't get that change.
so can we just move this to the next meeting? Would that, go ahead.
The plat's a legal recordation of the property. Like Mr. Summit mentioned, there's nothing on the plat that refers to these weirs. In other words, the channeling of the water. So this is by Mr. Summit coming in and actually saying that they will go through the process to talk to St. John's Water Management in regards to the approval of the permit. That is on the record. But again, this is a legal recordation of the property. There's nothing on this regarding that record because it's not that type of a document.
So regardless of the changes, whether they get approved or not, we won't ever have to reapprove this.
Correct.
Okay, that's,
Correct.
okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else from the public wish to speak on this one? If not, look for a motion to approve the plat for the Golden Orchard.
So I'll make the motion, but to make sure that it includes whatever the agreement was between.
We
No?
can't- we-
Why?
Florida statutes determines what the minimum requirements are for a plat.
Right,
What you're doing is you're adding a new criteria that's not statutorily authorized. If you want
Okay.
to have two separate motions, we can do it two separately, but the approval of the plat cannot be conditioned upon a standard that's not listed in Florida statute.
okay. Well, thank you for that, counsel. So then we would do two motions. Okay, so that would be good. I just want to make sure that we have the agreement from a meeting that was held with the developer, I guess, and the constituent and the mayor. That's all I want to make sure, that it's there. Okay.
So I'll make a motion.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the plat for Golden Orchard,
Second.
second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Is there something else?
Right.
I thought you wanted to do another
Oh, the
motion.
second motion. So the second motion would be, I don't know, would you help me
Well,
out?
I didn't see what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, if
Well,
you're
the
memorializing the agreement
Right.
between the developer and the city,
Well,
or you
the
can just
adjacent
basically-
landowner,
the
really.
landowner,
The
I mean,
landowner.
or you're going to basically acknowledge, if you want to acknowledge
Yes.
that there is such an agreement, but we didn't draft an actual written agreement.
You haven't drafted anything?
Well, no, there's no written agreement or a condition of, or a developer's agreement, or these aren't all the issues that are going to be addressed at a later date. So, I mean, we could probably, if it's best, if the council wants to acknowledge that there is an agreement pending, and then if anything is going to come forward to actually ratify a formal agreement, we could do such at a later date. But I think it's been placed on the record that the parties have some form of an agreement, and if there's got to be something that's memorialized, we'll bring it forward for an actual official memorialization at a later date. I don't want to adopt a set agreement right now, but we don't have,
So
Okay.
it's
that'll
kind of
be
an agreement,
included
you've
in
got
the
an agreement
master
in
plan.
principle,
I'm
and
sorry.
you've got what you got is basically an agreement in principle. You can acknowledge, I think we put on the record, we've acknowledged that we have such an agreement, we can move forward.
Okay, so if it just comes in a later date, that we have this information that we discussed today.
If it needs to be documented, or at this point, because we have a third party, the Water Management District is going to be involved as well, then if there's anything that needs to be officially ratified, and any agreement that has to be signed by the city, that'll be brought forward for your approval.
So
Okay,
as soon as we get an agreement from St. John's, then we'll share that with the council.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of times with something like this that comes in after the fact from the construction plans that are
Right.
approved, usually those would end up coming back before Development Review Committee, and Development Review Committee would do the approval.
Yeah.
When that happens, what I can do is at one of our future meetings, I can report back to the council that we have this agreement, and the property owner and the developer have agreed on these changes to the weir locations that were approved by St. John's Water Management.
Yep.
But that way, you'll get that report back.
okay.
Okay.
Just in the future, because, we do have the agenda reviews the day before.
I did not know this was even
Oh,
occurred
okay.
Friday. I mean, this is the first
Because
I had
this is the
heard.
first I'm hearing of it. So if you could just kind of give us some information.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm surprised by the resident coming up. I'm sorry, I don't know if he's a resident or constituent.
Resident,
But I
he's the
was
property owner in the
surprised-
southwest.
Oh, he's, okay.
Yes.
I was surprised by his request right now. So, okay. Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right, next up, the Willow Run Subdivision Major Development Plan. Gene?
Good afternoon, Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to approve the Willow Run Subdivision Major Development Plan. Properties are located on the southeast corner of Plymouth Sorrento and Appy Lane. The Willow Run Subdivision Major Development Plan proposes a residential development located on the southeastern corner of Plymouth Sorrento and Appy Lane in the outskirts of the city's form-based code area. The MDP offers development of 110 single-family detached residential units in which each unit has a minimum living area of 12,500 square feet and minimum lot width of 95 feet.
Hey, guys, can y'all? Y'all? Thank you. Sorry about that, Gene.
That's all right. The applicant provides a total of 11.3 acres of open space, which is approximately 20% of the development area. Amenities include a pocket park near the Appy Lane entrance of the subdivision and a dog park. There are 2 retention ponds proposed on the northern and southern areas of the development and a walking path along the perimeter of the northern retention pond. The DRC and Planning Commission recommend approval of the Willow Run Subdivision Major Development Plan. The recommended motion is to approve the Willow Run Subdivision Major Development Plan, subject to the findings of the staff report. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Any questions for Gene?
I have one question. They're adding a sidewalk, correct, on the front?
Yes,
And then to the parcel to the east, we own that one, correct?
we do. It's part of the Northwest
That's what, do
Recreation.
we have a sidewalk there that connects?
Yes, on Appy Lane.
Appy Lane we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that'll connect all the way to Northwest then?
Correct.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Real quick clarification regarding the lot area. That actually is correct. It's the lot area is 12,500 square feet. The house itself would probably be minimum of 1,600, which would be per code. So just a quick clarification.
Okay, any other questions for Jean? Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Well, first of all, thank Jean. She's been a lone planner here for almost, half a week, and so do you want to recognize your new,
I'm so very excited. He started this week. So we're throwing him to the lion's
wolves?
den. This is our planner one, Christian Togmas. He came from Richmond, Texas. You want to stand up?
so Christian, stand up.
And
Yes.
it's his first week, so so be nice.
So we'll see if he's still here Friday.
Yeah, I check on him every time.
Okay. Close the public hearing, and we look for a motion to approve the major development plan for the Willow Run subdivision.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Nesta, second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, Transportation Impact Fee Credit Agreement for the Gardenia Reserve. Pam?
Yes, you have in your packet the Transportation Impact Fee Credit Agreement. Gardenia Reserve is located west of Golden Gem and south of Sadler Road, or the little piece that's there. This is becoming kind of our standard agreement. The developer is going to donate right-of-way on Golden Gem, as well as the right-of-way that's needed to build Sadler Road. They're also going to design, permit, and construct a piece of Sadler Road adjacent to their property. So as I tell you every time I talk to you, pretty soon we're going to have Sadler Road connected from 441 all the way over to Plymouth Sorrento. So this is kind of like the first piece. Their impact fees are way less than what it's going to cost to do this, so it's a good deal for the city. And so the request is to approve the Transportation Impact Fee Credit Agreement for Gardenia Reserve.
Any questions for Pam? Anybody from public wish to speak on this matter? If not, we'll close the public hearing, look for a motion to approve the Transportation Impact Fee Credit Agreement for Gardenia Reserve.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, Chuck.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor. Chuck Vavrick, City Administration. What you have before you is a request to fund and authorize a citywide streetlight study. Currently, the city spends about $1.6 million in street lighting. Of that, $200,000 is reimbursed to the city through DOT. With the additional funds for street lighting coming out of your streets fund, which impacts paving, street repair, and so forth. So we're requesting to do a study to look at creating a citywide MSBU versus the individual MSBUs we currently do for an overall solution to fund future street lighting and allow for expanding that network as we go forward. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, concerns.
Okay, any questions?
No, because, would you explain so that the public would understand? I know you've been coming to us intermittently, doing separate ones. By doing this, you're actually going to help the residents actually save money by doing a citywide.
Correct.
Right?
Currently, street lighting is paid for various ways. We have some that pay for some of the street lighting. We have MSBUs that pay totally for all the street lighting. And then in other areas, the city pays 100%. So the costs are disproportionate for each user that benefits. So the study will create a system by doing a systematic citywide assessment and having a funding source to address it citywide. And we won't have all these different ways of paying for it.
Okay.
I just want to say I'm thrilled with this. One of the first things when I first got here was start looking at our lighting and our needs in that. I know different ones of the commissioners have done that, and this is just such a tremendous way to be able to move that. The only word I hate here is slowly.
Well,
but-
and y'all are always coming in, and
Yeah.
Pam and myself field calls all the time for people wanting streetlights, and there's not a funding source.
Right.
It has to come from your streets. So we're paying Peter to pay Paul. Either we fix a pothole or we put a streetlight up. So we're trying to come to one solution that's amicable and usable throughout the city.
Exactly, and that was my next point to make, was this is going to keep us from robbing from taking care of our street needs. And, so I'm thrilled to see this move forward.
Commissioner Smith?
I'm excited to see the study. As you know, I've mentioned this several times, that, while we absorbing all the costs, and so I'm in favor of it.
Okay, Commissioner Nestor?
No more comments.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chuck.
Chuck, can you give me an idea of how much that we put on the books that, before you got?
Well,
about-
currently, we pay 1.6 from the street funds, and that's 200,000 of the 1.6 comes from DOT to reimburse. So we're paying about 1.4 million in street lighting. I've put an additional 300,000 into MSBU's. So you're paying close to $2 million just for street lighting throughout the city.
But 300,000 that we would have been paying out of streets is now coming from the MSBU.
MSBU's,
So that's,
yes, sir.
which is critical. The little question I had for you is, so if one neighborhood wants a decorative street light, how do you make, when we do this overall citywide?
Well, that'll be left to the council if we want to address going backwards or we just continue going forward.
Well-
But Jim and myself have sat down, we look at what Duke Energy provides. We are going to come up with a list of what is authorized. Right now, they can just pick anything out there. We're going to come to a decision of narrowing what lights are going to be authorized. In addition, we're looking at making sure that they meet the dark sky requirements. And if you're not familiar with dark sky,
Yeah.
it just basically says the light's projected down and not filling the sky with artificial light. So we are working on the backside to do some limiting as to what we will allow to go in neighborhoods.
So could, somebody wants a really decorative, high-end neighborhood, we want a really fancy one that's not on any of your list, but they don't mind paying, is there a way that the HOA could pay that upcharge, or?
You could do it that way. I would say that we just come up with a list of what we're going to authorize, and that's the direction we move forward, Mayor. That way, we have some consistency
uniformity,
throughout the
yeah.
city.
Okay.
Well, it could be to kind of follow that same suit, maybe do like a cheapest option, middle option, and like the high-end option.
And we can discuss that with the consultant as we're moving through this to say, okay, if these lights are in this neighborhood, then this would be what the fee would be. And there's going to be three, part of the request that I made, that we come back with 3 proposals to y'all, and you all can make the final decision.
Okay.
And let me ask you a question since you're here. When there's an accident and the street light is destroyed, what's the process of getting that replaced? I mean, sometimes it's months and sometimes it's not.
Well, if I'm made aware of it, or Pam, we normally work with the Duke Energy consultant that we work with. There is a button on our website that'll take you directly to Duke Energy, and you can put it in yourself. But generally, if we get notified, we work through our consultant with Duke Energy to get it resolved. But if you have one that you want resolved, I'll be more than happy to jump on it for you,
All right,
Commissioner.
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Well,
Yes,
wink,
sir.
wink, we signed an agreement, for the hurricane that they, will be able to use Northwest as a staging site. So I think we're high on the priority list for Duke's,
And I know y'all get approached by your constituents about getting the lights changed out to LED. The city is in the process of working with Duke Energy to do the whole city. It will be a long, multi-year process, mostly because they have to get product, they have to work it through, but the city will get changed out to LED at some point.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Chuck. Thanks for all
Yes,
your
sir.
help on that.
We need a vote.
Oh, we need a
That's right,
vote.
we need a
Oh,
vote.
yes, I guess. Okay, look for a motion to authorize the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Raftellus Financial Consultant to conduct a citywide street lighting study.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Bankson. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. All right, next up, Vladimir.
Vladimir Ortega, Finance Director. This is a request to council to approve the fiscal year 22-23 budget workshops to be held on July 25th, 26th, and 27th at 5 p.m. in the City Council chamber right here, and to move the regularly scheduled council meeting from July 20th to July 27th at 7 p.m.
Okay, I know it was in the paper last week that it was the week of the 13th, and so we just want to make sure everybody's aware that, I mean, we've got,
been changed.
obviously, we've got 6 weeks before it's, would have been a different, but anyway, all of our schedules kind of conflicted, so that was the dates that worked for all the commissioners. So that's the reason for the change. Just want to make sure everybody knows, and I'm sure the chief will reflect it in the next couple of, papers. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this one? Not, we'll close the public hearing. Look for motion to approve the FY 22-23 budget workshop dates for July 25th, 26th, and 27th at 5 p.m., and to move the regularly scheduled July 20th city council meeting to July 27th, 2022 at 7 p.m.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Velasquez,
Second?
second by Commissioner Nesta. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 2939.
Ordinance number 2939, an ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Apopka by amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 7, Fire Department, Division 1, Generally, Section 2-180, Fire Department rates and charges by establishing rules and regulations for the Fire Department. By amending Chapter 2, Article 7, Division 1, by creating Section 2-205.1, Plan Review, Permits, and by amending Chapter 2, Article 7, Division 1, by creating Section 2-205.2, Fire Permits, by amending Chapter 2, Article 7, Division 1, by creating Section 2-205.3, Reinspection Fees, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and an effective date.
Any changes?
No changes.
Okay. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Not, we'll close the public hearing. Look for a motion to adopt ordinance number 2839.
So moved?
Got a motion by Commissioner Nesta.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor? Aye. All
I'm
opposed?
sorry,
Is
you
that
said
2939?
it's 2939.
I got
28.
28, no, I got 2839. Okay, I'm sorry. So, excuse me, a motion to adopt ordinance number 2939.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Nesta.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, next up, ordinance number 2921.
Ordinance number 2921, an ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending the future land use element of the Apopka Comprehensive Plan of the City of Apopka, changing the future land use designation from City Future Land Use in Progress, FLU IP, and County Rural to Mixed Use for certain real property generally located on the southwest corner of Von Dyke Road and Plymouth Sorrento Road, owned by David L. Backel, Wanda S. McClarty, Larry M. Everly Sr. Family Trust, and Corrine F. Everly Family Trust, comprising 39.67 acres, more or less, providing for severability and for an effective date.
Okay, Jean?
Again, Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to accept ordinance number 2921, the small-scale future land use amendment of Plymouth Sorrento North from City Future Land Use in Progress and County Rural to Mixed Use. The property is located within the 1-mile radius of State Road 429 and Kelly Park Road. Therefore, it is subject to the KPI form-based code area standards. It also sits on the southwest corner of Ondich Road and Plymouth Sorrento Road, north adjacent of the Bridle Path subdivision, and is approximately 39 acres in size. The KPI form-based code requires that this property is assigned a mixed-use future land use designation. Subject parcels will be allowed a minimum density of 1 dwelling unit per acre and a maximum density of 5 dwelling units per acre, as well as a minimum floor area ratio of 0.05 and a maximum of 0.5 FAR. The applicant has also submitted a rezoning application, which is the next item on the agenda. The DRC recommends approval, and at its meeting on May 10, 2022, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the future land use amendment. The recommended motion is to accept the first reading of ordinance number 2921 and hold it over for second reading and adoption on June 15, 2022, or soon thereafter. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Any questions for Jean? Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Not, we'll close the public hearing and look for a motion to approve ordinance number 2921 at first reading and hold over for a second reading and adoption.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Velasquez,
Second?
second by Commissioner Nesta. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 2922.
Ordinance number 2922, an ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, changing the zoning from T Transitional District to KPIMU Kelly Park Interchange Mixed Use Zoning District and Neighborhood Overlay District for certain real property located on the southwest corner of Von Dyke Road and Plymouth Sorrento Road, comprising 39.67 acres more or less, and owned by David L. Backel, Wanda S. McCarty, Larry M. Everly Sr. Family Trust, and Corrine F. Everly Family Trust, providing for directions to the Community Development Director, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Jean?
For the record, Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to accept ordinance number 2922, rezoning of the Plymouth Sorrento Road properties from T Transitional to KPIMU Kelly Park Interchange Mixed Use with the assignment of neighborhood overlay. The applicant is requesting a rezoning from transition to KPIMU and an assignment of neighborhood overlay, which is required within the KPI form-based code area. The accompanying master plan proposes the development of a 140-lot subdivision consisting of single-family detached residences. The residential units will have a minimum lot width of 34 feet for rear-loaded units and minimum living area of 1,300 square feet, as well as 55 feet of front-loaded units with a minimum living area of 1,500 square feet. There are no minimum or maximum living area standards or lot size requirements in the KPI form-based code area. The proposed access points consist of access along Plymouth Sorrento Road and additional access points from the south adjacent residential development, Bridle Path subdivision connecting to the northern project limits to Ondich Road. The applicant also proposes a 12-foot wide recreational trail along Plymouth Sorrento Road frontage, creating connectivity between developments. The recreational trail is also proposed along the perimeter of the stormwater pond located in the southwestern area of the development and connects with the trail in the Bridle Path subdivision amenity area. The applicant also provides a pocket park at the entrance adjacent to Ondich Road and an amenity park on the northwestern portion of the subdivision. The open space requirement is 20% of the development, while the proposed open space in this master plan accounts for approximately 27% of the development area. DRC recommends approval of the proposed change of zoning, assignment of the neighborhood overlay district in the master plan. At its meeting on May 10, 2022, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the proposed change of zoning and approval of the master plan. The recommended motion today is to accept the first reading of ordinance number 2922 and hold it over for second reading and adoption on June 15, 2022. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Any questions for Jean?
Just a few things here. Again, as we see on this one and then one coming up, that we're short on high school seats. You know, that's been a discussion that we've had, and we know it's the chicken and the egg argument that if we don't have the need, they won't build the school. You know, and so it just always gives that sense of discomfort. We're approving something that we don't have the room for, you know, and so I just want to be mindful of that. At what point do we have, and it's always been that moving bar. You know, it's frustrating at that. But I just want to be mindful of those things. At the same time, our high school will be the next that needs to be expanded, and that's just the way this thing operates, again, by state standard as well. So this is pushing the need for that. It's also going to be them adding into the pot, basically, for that to be built, although we can't designate it for ourselves. It just goes into Orange County, correct?
Correct.
So we just need to be the squeaky wheel on that. You know, the other issue that I have, again, looking at this and the next one, we're doing this as we have done, where we're wrapping the smaller units within the development and, you know, so that it doesn't affect others around them. I'd really kind of like to know Commissioner Nesta's opinion, just from your expertise in, I know there's a market need for smaller homes now. And, you know, what I don't want to do is create something where, again, this is a lot more impact because there's more houses per acre. At the same time, there's a need and desire for that in the market. Do you have any insight on that specifically?
Yeah, I would, versus actually being smaller homes, I think people are looking for affordable homes. And these are probably, I'm gonna guess prices here, the townhomes are probably gonna start in the 3s, homes are probably gonna start in the 4s, which somehow now 300,000 is an affordable price. So I think that's where the product actually is being demanded. It's not so much people are wanting the size as much as they are just somewhere to live. So there's still demand there. The market still needs it. Whether or not the surrounding properties want maybe more lots, things like that, or larger lots, there is a demand for it still. I don't think we're overproducing at this point. I mean, the market is still what it is. So we will start seeing a transition. It's not here yet.
And so it still goes to, we've got a good quality product of the developer itself. We just want to make sure that standard doesn't ever lend itself down the road to something really being a negative to the community.
Correct. We have development design guidelines as an appendix to our land development code, and the KPI in itself also has additional development design guidelines that they have to meet.
And I see that we're following that in this, so I don't have an issue with that. I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to kind of always be thinking of that bigger picture.
Well, keep in mind too, within the KPI itself, I mean, if this is kind of the point, is a little more density. That was kind of the design to make this kind of a hub of Apopka. So it definitely follows that track completely.
Commissioner Smith?
Well, I was gonna make the comment about the overcrowding of schools as well. But I also understand that until we get to that percentage of overcapacity, that we will not be able to get a new school. And so we're helping the school board get to the point that we will get a new school in our area. So we're just asking the public to be patient with us and with the county as we try to abide by the state guidelines in reference to overcapacity. I like the idea of a mixed community, that there's a mixed product. That way, when the individual is ready to move up to that next level, that they don't have to leave their community and then uproot their kids to go to another school, that they can still remain within the same community. So I think I like the mixed product.
Commissioner Velasquez?
No, everyone's kind of covered the questions, and of course, the school issue is certainly one that is brought up almost at every city council. So I think that it'll be our responsibility as commissioners to keep in touch with our school district representative, which at this time is Melissa Bird, and just to make sure that she is aware of what we are approving, and that, you know, to kind of help us along the timeline to make sure that our city is somewhere a priority for the schools, for a new high school, because I know we have the site somewhere, but, you know, we get put on a list of priorities. So I think that if we continue to kind of keep her informed, that somewhere along the line, we might be prioritized for that next school.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked school board to come down and kind of give us a refresher on
Sure.
school capacity enhancement agreements, and I haven't, not getting very far, so hopefully.
I was gonna say, that'd be very valuable if we could.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Do
trust
we
me,
know
I've
off the
asked
top of
them.
our head, like, what that percentage is, like that benchmark percentage? That would
That's,
need to
I
be
mean,
at?
those are the numbers I want to
Gotcha.
find out.
Okay.
And so it's, because I've asked about two things. One thing it's going to be in August is they're looking to add the ad valorem increase. They have to do it every, is it 4 years, or I think they have to come back, and it'll be on the ballot in August. And so I'm like, well, love to have y'all come talk about that and school capacity enhancement agreement. So anyway,
I think I heard something like Apopka High School has to be over 4,000 students before we can get to other school.
And the thing is that Wekiva is under capacity, so you could, theoretically, with one, change of the districts, you could get both of them in compliance. You could add students to Wekiva.
But I think that would create a busing problem.
I'm not,
Because then you need to bus them there, and we don't have enough school bus drivers already.
I don't,
So
I'm not
think that's what
disagreeing,
they're
yeah.
Looking at, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, okay. Any other questions for Gene?
No.
Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Come on down, Rod Olson, tell us about schools.
He's gonna come.
I didn't steal your thunder, did I?
It's obvious on schools, and this is something that is, as everyone's pointed out, this belongs at the state level. We have to engage and address the issue. The fact that we have to have resource officers on campus, the fact that my middle school granddaughters have to go into the auditorium or into the gymnasium so they can be seen and supervised when they got that beautiful courtyard over at Wolf Lake Middle School because of the fights. And the fights are a result of overcapacity. We are absorbing an extraordinary amount of overcapacity for Orange County by our rapid growth, and they don't build schools until they're filled. Well, Wolf Lake and Elementary School went in with 42 freaking, pardon my French, portables. When they opened 14 years ago, they're still there. Now we're building a new school. Isn't that nice? The K through 8. They've built in, within the property, 12 spots for portables. This is wrong. This is butt backwards, and we've got to get a hold of it, and it's got to be up in Tallahassee. The fact that we're the fourth largest school district in the state, eighth largest, now I just read something recently, we're the ninth largest in the nation, but the fact that the three largest school districts in front of us, in Miami-Dade and in Hillsborough, 1 and 3, less than 3% of their students are in portables, less than 3%. Over in Brevard, it's 14%. We are at 21%. This got to change.
And to your point, Mr. Olson, as I was serving on the search committee for our new superintendent, we're down to our 3 finalists. That was one of the things that we heard at all 8 meetings, is that they wanted a superintendent that would engage with our state legislators to make sure that these things were addressed. And so I think that's been made wide and clear that we need to engage.
Cool. Okay, anybody else from public wish to speak?
Wolf Lake.
Thank y'all for this topic, this conversation, because it's one near and dear to my heart also. About 15 years ago, maybe 10 to 15 years ago, we took a trip to Tallahassee, myself and a bunch of the parents from Wolf Lake, was it Wolf Lake or Rock Springs Elementary, one of the two. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gramando was the president. And what we did, we went up to Tallahassee, we had a schedule. Mayor, you might remember that time frame because I think you was one of the representatives up in Tallahassee. We had a scheduled meeting to go up there and talk about the schooling system. That's the time we had the crisis with the automobiles. And one of the questions was, in the budget, and that's why sometimes it's confusing with the budgets. We had plenty of money in the budget to build schools, but we had no money in the budget to operate the school. So I don't know if that have changed now because it's no good to have a school and we can't furnish it properly with staff and teachers and the supplies that the kids need. So if that haven't changed, please look into that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. With that, look for a motion to approve ordinance number 2922 at first reading and hold over for a second reading and adoption.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 2926.
Ordinance number 2926, an ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending the future land use element of the Apopka Comprehensive Plan of the City of Apopka, changing the future land use designation from county rural to city mixed use for certain real property generally located on the north side of the intersection of Kelly Park Road and Chandler Road, owned by Robert T. and Elena J. Hutter, comprising 9.53 acres more or less, providing for severability and for an effective date.
Okay, Jim?
Community Development Director for the City of Apopka is Jim Head. This is a small scale, another one of these is, as you already mentioned. This is a small scale future land use amendment for the Oaks of Kelly Park Phase 4. This is on the far eastern side of the KPI district up north. This is the first reading. This is from County Rural, which is a maximum of 1 dwelling units for 10 acres, to City Mixed Use, which has a maximum of 15 dwelling units per acre, but they are using the neighborhood overlay, which actually brings, instead of 142 maximum, it's 100, or it's basically be about 49 units. This is located at 2523 West Kelly Park Road, and it is 9.53 acres. This property was annexed into the city by Ordinance 2913 on March 16th of this year. Under the school capacity, it is deficient at the high school level of 6.517 seats. This is where they did, with all of these, we do get the capacity from the school district, letting us know how overburdened our schools are. With the next level is, once these projects are actually approved, they do have to go through concurrency. This is where they actually pay into the system to help pay for those new schools. As you mentioned before, what we don't have control over is where those monies that are being paid into the system go within Orange County. This is one of those that, I'd love to have this right here in Apopka to go towards the schools that we need. So, since we are the ones that are the fast-growing portions. Orange County did get notified under our JPA agreement that was sent out on February 16, 2022. This was held by seen by the Planning Commission on April 12th. And on May 4th, this was postponed to the date certain, which is today, for the first reading of the ordinance, and second reading would be held on June 15th for the second reading and adoption. The Development Review Committee does recommend approval. The Planning Commission also saw this again on April 12th and recommended unanimously of the future land use amendment from County Rural to City Mixed Use. And again, this is one that was postponed at the May 4th City Council meeting. Recommended motion is to approve the first reading for Ordinance 2926 and hold it over for second reading and adoption on June 15th.
Any questions for Jim?
Has there been a meeting held with the neighborhood in reference to this?
Yes, that's all part of the process. That's all done right at the beginning.
Okay. And I guess another question is for Pam in reference to Kelly Park Road. Are they donating land for the right-of-way to expand that road
Come up,
for
Pam.
Kelly Park?
They have very little frontage, and they are outside of the area right now that we have planned for widening. So, we're not getting anything from them. They will be putting turn lanes on Kelly Park Road, and they've already built a piece of the trail in front of their development. So, I think we're good with the transportation part of it.
Okay. Anybody else?
This is one of those developments that they started out on the western side, the fringe area, actually just out this area, and they've been kind of adding on to the project as they go. So like we mentioned, this is phase 4. There's actually 4 parcels. So this is the continuation of the Toll Brothers project.
All right. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? If not, we'll close the public hearing and look for motion to approve ordinance number 2926 at first reading and hold over for second reading and adoption.
So move.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bankson,
Second.
second by Commissioner Nesta. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 2930.
Ordinance number 2930, an ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, changing the zoning from T Transitional District to KPIMU Kelly Park Interchange Mixed Use Zoning District and Neighborhood Overlay District for certain real property located east and west of State Road 429, west of Plymouth Sorrento Road, and adjacent to Joey McCucken Road, comprising 31.93 acres more or less, and owned by PM S1 REO LLC, providing for directions to the Community Development Director, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Jean?
Again, Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to accept ordinance number 2930, rezoning of Winding Meadows North from transitional to KPIMU Kelly Park Interchange Mixed Use with the assignment of neighborhood overlay. The property falls within the KPI form-based code area. It's approximately 31.9 acres situated south of Kelly Park Road, west of Plymouth Sorrento Road, and east of State Road 429. The property currently has a future land use designation of mixed use, permitting up to 5 dwelling units per acre. The accompanying master plan proposes an extension of the previously approved Winding Meadows subdivision south adjacent of this proposed development. The master plan proposes the development of 85 single-family detached dwelling units. The development program comprises of 16 units of 34-foot wide lots, which are rear-loaded, 20 units of 40-foot wide rear-loaded lots, and 49 units of 55-foot wide front-loaded lots. All residential units will have a minimum living area of 1,300 square feet for the 34-foot wide lots and 40-foot wide lots, and 1,500 square feet for lots with 55 feet in width. There are no minimum or maximum living area or lot size requirements in the KPI form-based code area. The applicant also provides a total of 4.7 acres of open space, which is a little over 20% of the development area. Amenities include a pocket park near the entrance of the subdivision and an 8-foot wide multi-purpose trail connecting from the north and south. However, this development will also be served by the amenities within the previously approved Winding Meadows subdivision, south adjacent of the development, and that subdivision includes an 8-foot wide multi-purpose trail along Plymouth Sorrento Road, and internal to the site, a passive park path with benches along the perimeter of the stormwater ponds, a pool and cabana, another passive park, as well as recreational field. The DRC and Planning Commission recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning, the assignment of neighborhood overlay district, and the master plan. The recommended motion is to accept the first reading of ordinance number 2930 and hold it over for second reading and adoption on June 15, 2022. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Any questions for Jean?
So just a question about the roundabouts, or I guess it's traffic circles that I know this was possibly a four-way stop at one point, but we've decided traffic circle is the best route.
Are you talking about the connection between this and the development to the north?
No, right in the center there.
Oh, yeah. That's a traffic calming device. Instead of a four-way stop, we're gonna do the traffic circle.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably the best way, because it'll
Okay.
slow people down from all directions.
And there's no issue with fire or anything like that getting through?
No, and we've had numerous discussions, and I think they finally figured out they know how to drive around a traffic circle, and then it won't be that much of an issue. But we're cognizant of that, and it'll be designed right.
Cool, thank you.
I actually just saw another video presentation on that. I've looked into those in the past, the traffic circles and the roundabouts and everything, and it's actually very, very productive. Numbers are good, accidents lower, less braking, better on gas. I mean, all the way around. The biggest issue has been selling it to a public that's not used to that. And once people embrace it and see it across the board, they're like, wow, why didn't we do this a long time ago? So I think there's some real benefits there. And so the more we can educate the public on those things, I think they'll realize, wow, this is great all the way around.
How long before I'll like them then? How long ago?
He said the younger people.
Maybe get that.
And is it correct in the report that it says that there is space available for the students in all these schools?
What you see with the report is the most current capacity report that we have from OCPS. I can't recall what the expiration date is on that capacity. Yes. Oh, yes, this was part of the Kelly Park Crossings DRI before, so they had vested units already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
What, can you, Luke, come up and, just for the
And
record?
that's what probably confused you with that attachment there. It was previously approved for the entire DRI.
Luke Klassen, Appian Engineering, 2221 Lee Road, Winter Park, Florida.
Speak up.
The reason for the capacity change, as you asked, Commissioner Smith, this was part of the DRI, the Kelly Park Crossings DRI, that has since been, or is in the process of vacation.
We're actually in the process of, excuse me, doing the abandonment. I was going to chime in on this. There, as part of the DRI, they actually have vested close to 9,000 units up in that KPI area. In addition to that, there's also about 8 million square feet of non-residential that's also vested. So there should not be too much of a capacity issue at all. And even with the abandonment, we are putting those numbers into the DRI abandonment so that nobody loses those vested units as part of that DRI itself, or the, for that form-based code area.
So it's not all properties within the KPI, it's just the properties that used to be part of the DRI, the specific DRI, Kelly Park Crossings DRI, would have the vested units. Other properties in the KPI don't have
Won't
vested
have
units.
that.
Correct.
All right.
So that's why you see that it's just a differential.
Yeah,
here.
this is the only piece that's on the eastern side that does get to tap into that.
All right.
Good. Thanks, Luke, for appreciate that. Okay. Anybody from the public wish to speak? Come on up, sir.
You know, I used to own the 50 acres. Well, now they got the outer barn behind me. That one. And,
Need your name and,
I don't really have, it's progress.
name and address for the record, just so we've got that on record, please, sir.
So it doesn't make too much difference to me. If I put 20 years younger.
I need your name and address for the record.
What's that? Oh, Alfred Kager. I'm living out there for about 30 years. I planted on that property 500 oak trees. You can see it on the map if you look at it. And I enjoyed it out here, but what can you do? If I would be 20 years younger, I'd be out of there. I built my own house there, as you know, and we had a ball out there, but that's how life is.
Yeah.
And it's going to change. And it's going to change. Because of course, my own son is going to start building houses too, so what can you do? Of course, the other problem is when they build that road, you better watch it.
Which road?
I don't like that.
Which-
Joey McGuckin Road is going to be 4 lane. Do you think they put that $3 million bridge up there for nothing?
Which road?
Be a-
Oh, okay.
It's going to be
Two
a
lane.
main road right in front of my house, but there's nothing you can do either. You have to have it. It's going all the way down to 441, you know. But that's all right. We got to keep building, and there's nothing you can do. We got enough people here, and they're coming down there. Maybe, but you never know, that hurricane maybe changes a little bit. You got to have a little fun. But
There you go. Thank you.
Can't stop progress. Like they always said, you know, that's progress. I went a long way there with all that stuff there. But we had our good times, and we made our money here too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Or we'll make sure he keeps as many of those oak trees as possible, okay?
Yeah, I hope they can save some of them.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of fence they're going to do behind my house. You know, the corner is my house up there.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? All right. Now, we'll close the public hearing, look for a motion to approve ordinance number 2930 at first reading and hold over for a second reading and adoption.
Second, so moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 2940.
Ordinance number 2940,
Annexation.
An ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, to extend its territorial and municipal limits to annex pursuant to Florida Statute 171.044, the hereinafter described land situated and being in Orange County, Florida, owned by Harvey Godwin, located at 5206 Plymouth Sorrento Road, providing for directions to the city clerk, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Again, Jean Sanchez with the Community Development Department. This is a request to accept ordinance number 2940, the annexation of 5206 Plymouth Sorrento Road. The parcel is located west of Plymouth Sorrento Road and north of Kelly Park Road, approximately 6.2 acres in size. It abuts properties in the city jurisdiction on its northern boundaries. The recommended motion is to accept ordinance 2940 and hold it over for second reading and adoption on June 15, 2022. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Any questions for Jean? Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Not, we'll close the public hearing. Look for a motion to approve ordinance number 2940 at first reading and hold over for second reading and adoption.
So move.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bankson,
Second.
second by Commissioner Nesta. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, ordinance number 2941.
An ordinance of the City of Apopka, Florida, to extend its territorial and municipal limits to annex pursuant to Florida Statute 171.044, the hereinafter described land situated and being in Orange County, Florida, owned by Harvey Godwin, Sapp Rodney D. Life Estate, REM, Sandra D. Sapp, and PM S1 REO LLC, located on the northwest corner of Plymouth Sorrento Road and Kelly Park Road, providing for directions to the city clerk, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Apologies.
Yep.
This is actually, the caption is correct, but my presentation, it highlights to you the property that was just done for Goodwin. However, this ordinance relates to these properties surrounding
We
it.
have it correct in our packet.
Perfect. This was mistakenly put as the Godwin presentation. Apologize for that. However, this is a request to accept ordinance 2941, annexation of the properties known as the wingspan properties. It's not there. It's not there. No. It's, the parcels are located essentially in the same portions as the Godwin properties, and the intent is to combine those properties together for development, which will come later to you. The total size of the properties is 15.2 acres in size. The recommended motion is to accept ordinance number 2941 and hold it over for second reading and adoption on June 15, 2022. Staff and applicant are available for questions.
Any questions for Jean?
So is this three separate parcels that we're looking at now?
Yes, sir. We've had to essentially break up the Godwin and the Wingspan properties just based on an enclave issue with Orange County. So we had to bring in the Godwin properties first, have that adopted before we can bring in the Wingspan properties. And if Michael wants to
Yeah,
elaborate.
the clear clarification is because we have, I wish you could get the little laser pointer.
Yeah.
So the properties in question, the second ordinance are, whoa, I just really. Just a little laser point, what turns on the
very
pointer?
top, green.
Oh. Okay, let's just do that again, so. Okay, so it's top button. Oh, I see a little green thing. All right, so the subject properties for this ordinance are this one and this one. Now, however, in order to properly effectuate the annexation, the properties have to be contiguous to the city. Therefore, this property has to be annexed first. As the effect of the second reading, this becomes part of the city, and now the second lots come in contiguous to the city. That's the reason why the ordinances are split, in order to comply with the statutory requirements for annexation.
Okay, but what about the other one piece
In the middle.
that we're not No, go
No,
up.
there is no enclave because this remains part of the county. So this property remains part of the county, and therefore is not an enclave, and the middle one is still contiguous to the county and is therefore not an enclave either.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because this still remains county. So the right-of-way, the right-of-way is not a dividing line, the right-of-way is included. So as far as the county is concerned, the county's jurisdiction continues here, and then it just actually, the unincorporated can have finger-like projections into the incorporated. So that's where that is, we don't have an enclave. Same with these two little properties here. Will not form an enclave because they're still contiguous to this property, and then unincorporated area continues without it being surrounded on all four sides by the city.
All right.
Okay. All right. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this one? Okay, if not, we'll close the public hearing. Look for a motion to approve ordinance number 2941 at first reading and hold over for a second reading and adoption.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Nesta,
Second.
second by Commissioner Velasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up, Resolution 2022-24. Michael?
Let me read it. Resolution 2022-24, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Apopka, Florida, establishing rate schedules pertaining to the City of Apopka Fire Department and providing for an effective date.
All right. The resolution before you this afternoon implements the regulations that were adopted by Ordinance 2939 earlier today, which is these are the actual fire fee schedules, which we're adopting by resolution. The fee schedule is presented to you as the attachment to the resolution. If you have any questions regarding the details of the fees, I will defer to Chief Wylam, as those are technical matters in regards. But this is basically the implementation of the fire fees. Some of these fees were moved from the ordinance originally in the code and are now now moved over to the resolution. This fee schedule will be, and I'm going to position that it will be placed on the website for the public to be aware of the schedules and what the fees are that the ordinance authorizes the fire department to charge. Any additional questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions for Michael or the chief? No, okay, all right. Anybody from the public wish to speak on these? Okay. Not, we'll close the public hearing. Look for a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-24.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Nesta,
Second.
second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously.
So it's 4-1 because we do not have Commissioner Banks in here.
Next up, Resolution 2022-26.
Resolution 2022-26, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Apopka, Florida, calling a special election and a runoff as needed for the purpose of electing the city council member for seat 3, providing for the qualifying period and election dates, authorizing the city clerk to proceed with all election arrangements, and providing for an effective date. So this resolution, Resolution 2022-26, is a request to call for a special election. The unexpired seat of Commissioner Bankson, seat 3, will be expiring effective end of day November 8th, 2022. The qualifying period for this would be June the 13th through noon on June the 13th through noon, the June 17th. And this special election will be in conjunction with the countywide primary election held on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. Should it be necessary, the runoff will be held on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, in conjunction with the countywide general election.
So, let me ask you, because if there's 2 candidates, then it's, a winner is determined with two. When there's 4 candidates or more than 2, then it's 50% plus 1?
Correct.
Okay,
So with that,
yes.
anybody else have any other questions?
Any questions for Susan on Resolution 2022-26?
And I just want to clarify, since this is a primary and a general election, that means elections will be held here at the VFW as well, correct?
Yes, and I failed to report that we will also be doing the early voting will be in conjunction also with the
the
countywide
primary. Okay.
early voting, which would be for the primary. So,
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? Not, we'll close the public hearing. Look for a motion to approve Resolution 2022-26.
So moved.
Got a motion by
Second.
Commissioner Velasquez, second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up, Mayor's Proclamation. I need to read this. Mayor's Proclamation, August 23rd, 2022, special election, City of Apopka, Florida. Whereas in accordance with the provisions of the Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Apopka, Florida, a special general election shall be held on August 23rd, 2022 to elect a commissioner for seat 3 to fulfill an unexpired term. And whereas the term of Commissioner seat 3 will expire at 12 p.m. on November 8, 2022, it is therefore necessary that a commissioner for seat 3 be elected at a special election of the City of Apopka, Florida. Now, therefore, I, Brian Nelson, Mayor of the City of Apopka, as required by law, do hereby proclaim and pronounce that a special general election will be held in the City of Apopka, Florida, on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. for the purpose of electing a commissioner for seat 3. This special general election will be held at the same time as the countywide primary election. In the event it becomes necessary to have a runoff election, it will be held on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This special runoff election will be held at the same time as the countywide general election. Only the voters of the city residing within the city limits who are properly registered with the Orange County Supervisor of Elections by July 25th, 2022, may vote on this contest. Candidates for said office must qualify at the city clerk's office between 12 p.m. on Monday, June 13th, 2022, and ending at 12 p.m. on Friday, June 17th, 2022, at City Hall, 120 East Main Street, Apopka, Florida. The Orange County Canvassing Board is hereby authorized to canvass the City of Apopka ballots voted in the August 23rd, 2022, and November 8th, 2022, if necessary, special election in compliance with Section 3026 Apopka Code of Ordinances. Early voting will be available through the Orange County Supervisor of Elections on Monday, August 8th, 2022, through Sunday, August 21st, 2022, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Apopka Community Center. If there is a runoff election, early voting will be Monday, October 24th, 2022, through Sunday, November 6th, 2022, from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. In witness, therefore, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Apopka, Florida, to be affixed and attested by Susan M. Bones, City Clerk of Apopka, on the first day of June 2022.
Okay.
All right. Okay, next up, Resolution 2022-27.
Resolution 2022-27, resolution of the City Council of the City of Apopka, Florida, amending the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022, providing for a budget amendment.
Vladimir Ortega, Finance Director, City of Apopka. The Resolution 2022-27 includes 2 amendments. The first one is for the purchase of 633 South Park Avenue in Apopka, and the funding source is from the police impact fees and the fire impact fees. On May 18, 2022, City Council approved the purchase of 0.13 acres of real property located at 633 South Park Avenue, Apopka. The legal description of this property is Chapney portion, town of Apopka, 887, lot 137, block F. The property will be used to add to the existing city-owned property on the southwest corner of South Park Avenue and East 7th Street for the future use in the overall development of a public safety complex. The total amount is $220,000 plus a 10% contingency plus closing costs for a total of $242,000. The second amendment is to increase the city administrator's contractual services budget line in the amount of $30,000 from the general reserve line, and the funding is from the general revenues reserve. On May 18, the City Council approved a request to increase the city administrator's contractual services budget line in the amount of $30,000 from the general fund reserve. The increase will allow the city to obtain the services of a financial service consultant for the purpose of conducting a citywide street lighting study to provide a standardized method throughout the city for costs associated with providing the street lighting services. The total amount is $30,000 plus a 10% contingency of $33,000. The funding source is from the 2021-22 budget, and the recommended motion is to adopt Resolution 2022-27.
Any questions for Vladimir?
Have we, and this is probably for Attorney Rodriguez, have we, I guess, what's the schedule for closing on the Park Ave property?
Where's Patty's not
That's,
here now.
no, here, the.
Because it was, I mean,
The park.
originally it was supposed to be yesterday.
No, yeah, we submitted an addendum on the closing to June 13th, June 15th. Our title agent requested the extension in order to accommodate the creation of a title policy. To this date, I have not received back the executed addendum from the seller of the closing date.
Should that be a cause for concern at all, or just?
I don't think so.
If
being
it
the
goes
use, I
later,
know
there'll
it's
be a
either a
cause
bad
for
thing or it's
concern,
totally
but it was presented to it was presented to them that we needed the extension because we could not secure a title policy in the time that they demanded for that original closing.
And then do we order a survey as well?
No, I don't believe we do. We didn't order a survey for this one.
We're not going to order one?
I don't believe at this point in time that it's actually needed. It is the original lot from the original plan from the city of Apopka. So there's no dimensional changes whatsoever from the original plan. There's nothing that was taken, there's nothing that was added to it, so it's the original plan. It would probably cost us about $1,800 to get a survey done for something that hasn't changed at all.
Well, it's just my understanding, I thought we had that conversation that we would be ordering one, so it's surprising now that I'm hearing that we're not.
That was discussed, but nobody, I had gotten that order to do a survey, to actually do the survey.
Okay.
Any other questions for Vladimir? Okay, anybody from the public wishes to speak on this?
Just for the record, I think a survey should be done.
Jim, let's go ahead and just get one, go ahead and get it. We'll just need to come back for another budget adjustment next time. We'll go ahead and get it done.
I have money in the budget to do surveys and things
Okay.
like that. It's just that it definitely won't get done by.
Yeah, we'll get done by closing. Yeah, it won't be done by closing.
Well, if we ordered it when we originally discussed it, it probably would have been, so. Either way, and the point for that is just to understand the assets that we have completely. There could be, and I understand what your point as well, of that nothing has changed materially on the property. I get that, I just think it's a pragmatic process moving forward. Any site that we're purchasing as a city, I want to be able to look back and say, okay, there was a survey, there's no issues, no easements. Let's say when you retire in a few years, I can't go to you and say, hey, you remember. So I want to be able to, as we progress, be able to just look back in our files and say, yep, there was a certified survey done. I just think it's pragmatic as we purchase properties.
Why don't you do this? While you're doing that, if we're going to do that one, let's go ahead and do the property just east of that one. Yeah, right. Save us a little bit of money. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Because
guys so
there's a
much.
problem there, I think. We've got a little problem in the property next to us. So-
Right, exactly, yeah.
So we might as well do both of them.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, yep. Okay, no other comments, we'll look for a motion. You need to come up and give your name and address for the record, please.
Do we need to go ahead and vote on this one?
Wait, so you're,
I don't think she's addressing this issue, are you? No. So-
oh, yeah.
The last issue?
Which issue was that? Oh, yeah, that's long since gone. Really, it's, come on up. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but we need to go ahead and vote on this.
Yeah,
We
let's
did, let's
just knock
vote on
this
this one first, and then we'll come back to you. Okay. With that, close the public hearing, look for motion to adopt Resolution 2022-27.
So moved.
Got a motion by Commissioner Smith,
Second.
second by Commissioner Nesta. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Come on up. Sorry if I went by too fast.
I'm sorry, it's Bobby Boy.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Bobby Boy, BOEH, 2317 Boy Scout Road, Apopka. On the summer zones, I don't know how much it costs per session, but when you go ahead and put a name band thing where you're going to start charging a fee, that's going to let out a lot of families with children and stuff like that.
For what? I don't know.
The summer sounds.
Oh, Saturday
Oh,
sounds.
Saturday sounds.
Saturday
Right.
sounds.
We're not, remember,
No.
I think I did speak with you, and I said,
Yeah.
Saturday Sounds will continue to
Will
be
continue.
free concert, but we are now accommodating or providing opportunities for a promoter to bring in a paid concert. But Saturday Sounds will continue to be free, and we discussed it here, and we're looking to do the first and the third Saturdays to bring in the Saturday Sounds. And then if a promoter does not bring in a paid concert, they have 90 days in which to tell us that they're going to book the amphitheater. If no one books the amphitheater, then we are going to go to our promoter so that they can bring in a free concert, Saturday Sounds, but there will be enough time to advertise that.
And when we talked, you talked about only doing it once a month, and now it's gone to twice a month. It's going to put out a lot of, you see, it's a family thing, and I don't think it runs that much of when you look at the grand scale of things, a cost for the city. It's a nice thing for the city to have for families and stuff. And
Agreed, but we've had, some of the paid ones, we had, I know that International Jazz Fest, we had probably 2,000 for that. I'm trying to think what the ones we've got coming, obviously, we've got one coming up in October.
You have
Yeah, the heart and soul.
Heart and Soul, right.
Right.
That'll be a couple of thousand people. So other than, the free Saturday Night Sounds, we've got, obviously, the tribute bands are more expensive than just the weekly bands. And
which need
I want to
exposure.
say our budget is, it's less than $200,000, but we spend $200,000 on Saturday Sounds. And
The
so,
whole session.
for the whole, right, the 9 months, 8 months, whatever that works out to be. So we'll still continue to spend. One of the things we're trying to do is work on trying to get a corporate sponsor on the amphitheater. So then it might make more things available for us for free concerts.
I
So,
just know it's going to cut
Yeah.
out families, they got little kids and stuff
Yep.
like that. It's a nice family
Yep.
thing to come
Yep,
to, and it's
absolutely.
very appreciated by
yeah,
us that like the
Right.
free part.
Right.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that.
And thank you, Ms. Bobby, because you do come out almost every Saturday and support it, and we do appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, city council reports. We start on the other end. Commissioner Nesta, you want to
Mine's
start us out?
short. I'm trying to get down our average meeting time, so I'm going to keep it brief. I just really enjoyed and thank everyone that came out to honoring Memorial Day. I think that was a really incredible service. So that's pretty much it.
Good. Mr. Smith.
And I too want to say that Memorial Day service was an excellent activity and much appreciated by our residents. And also want to thank those that participated in the Emancipation Day activity and Commissioner Nesta for reading the Emancipation Proclamation, and that we attended 2 graduations with Calvin High School and Apopka High School graduation as well. And so that was a great event. And I want to thank the city clerk for including the public comment summary in our minutes. And just want to say that the Career Education Center is underway at the corner of 18th and Central. So they've already done the groundwork and they're getting ready to go up. Thank you, Mayor Nelson.
Yeah, you got it. That's awesome. Commissioner Bankson.
Well, obviously, I had to miss the last meeting and several things. Missed the graduations, which, was just a very frustrating time to miss all those very important things. And, I just wanted to just add in just a little bit to that very important issue that was discussed. And thank you for mentioning that, it'd be nice for me to be able to weigh in. I think this is just such an important issue, and I'm glad that I think through the issue of dealing with the decorum, that I think there was some clarity that was brought forth. I appreciated your comments I was able to read in the report there, Commissioner Smith as well. I just thought it was interesting. For me, our First Amendment is absolutely foundational. If we don't have that, we're not America anymore. So there's never any desire to shut down on First Amendment rights. We need to have those expressions. What decorum deals with, and I thought was very interesting, about 3 or 4 days after the meeting, I happened to see a news report come up that the Dallas Mavericks were fined $100,000 for 3 incidents of decorum violation on the bench. And so the issue of decorum is not something that's, I think, trying to be used here to stifle things. Decorum is both sides of this. It's here as well as there. It's all of us. And it's presenting things in a way that gets the city business done, that allows people to say, hey, these are our issues and we need you to focus on them. That is healthy and good. And I think all in all, the end result of that was we do have a resolution, and I'm in favor of making sure that we rein ourselves in. If you go online, it's sad, but you see other city councils almost look like the Jerry Springer show. And it will bring us down in our presentation as a city. We're going forward, we're developing, we're growing. Apopka's gone from that little, backdoor community to really a leader in these things. So I think as we do carry those things forward, again, this was started back in previous administration, that there aren't those just personal attacks because of personal issues, but that the issues that are going on as a city, we need to discuss. So I know it was a long meeting for everyone. I literally couldn't attend. I wanted to be here, was just flat out on my back, literally. But though it was a long meeting, I think it was an important one for everyone to know that everyone wants to have good conversation, wholesome dialogue, and address all the issues that we need to as a city. And so I'm in favor of just utilizing the tool that we have and just making sure that, we just keep things moving forward and still affording the conversations that need to be had without singling someone out or, as was stated earlier, feeling that any one person was directly attacked by those things. So the system works, and it took a long time to get there, but I'm just glad that we approach decorum for what that is. It's in every level, whether you're in the military, in judicial setting, in the Congress, all of these things. And so it keeps us dealing with the business, moving forward for the business of the city, and yet doing it in a way that doesn't bring our status down, a way that just gets things done and allows our citizens to voice what they need and us to hear those things and respond accordingly. So I appreciate this body working through that, and I apologize that I just literally couldn't be here. But I just appreciate everyone's comments on that, and I think it's going to do us well moving forward.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for
Commissioner
expressing.
Velasquez.
Okay, so May was a busy month for us, and May after our last meeting. So I have a few things here. First, I want to kind of say thank you to the Florida League of Cities for offering the required 4-hour sunshine ethics class that some of us up here attended. Also, just want to thank Ms. Shantae McNeil Jameson in partnership with the Apopka Chamber, Ms. Kate Manley and the Kiwanis Club, which I belong to, I'm a proud member of, Todd Smith. We had the Apopka Area Students Award held, at the VFW Center and we recognized 14 schools with the Teacher of the Year and the Student of the Year. That was really a fun and festive day, and they really appreciated that. Of course, we had the grand opening at 6:30 in the morning for Sprouts, and we were all there, and it was a lot of fun. And believe it or not, there were quite a few residents already lining up at that time in the morning to go shop. And of course, you mentioned the proclamation, so thank you to Commissioner Smith and Miss Monique Morris for making that, at the steps of the City Hall. Of course, we hope that next year we can bring it into the City Hall and make a public invitation for all the residents in Apopka. And then, of course, we also had I had the honor of being the MC for Music on My Mind, which was on Sunday, May 22nd. And it was a first time, it was their inaugural concert. And this is a concert, this is a group, a band, and all the musicians range from, if you could believe it, from middle school to professionals. We started this in March, and in less than 3 months, we were able to put out a concert. It was done on that Sunday, and if any of our residents missed it, I actually saw it this morning, it is on YouTube, and if you have an opportunity, please tune in. I'm looking forward to their next performance. Of course, we attended, and it was nice to be able to be back and be at the graduations as a council, and we certainly want to congratulate the graduates of Wekiva High School and Apopka High School. Let me see, then we had, the last concert that we did attend, which was the Saturday Sounds this past Saturday. Miss Bobby was there, you were enjoying it, and Cat Ridgway and the Tourists closed out the concert. And from there, I got a lot of feedback from a lot of the regulars that do attend there. And of course, on Monday, is something that I've always attended with the City of Apopka. I've been here 18 years, and I think I've attended every Veterans Memorial and Veterans Day here in the city, and I really appreciate that our city actually honors our veterans in our city. And then this morning, we welcomed our Apopka youth workforce, and so congratulations to the students who will be getting ready for their employment this summer. And then last but not least, the retirement of our Apopka chief, our regular, Mr. John Perry, who used to sit in that seat. Not only did he celebrate his birthday, but he celebrated a retirement, and we wish him all the very best in his new chapter in his life. And we now have Ms. Teresa Sargent, who will be a regular here at our Apopka meeting. So welcome, Teresa. I know you've come quite a few times, but John's presence will be missed. And again, I wish him the very best. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have the City Administrator's Report, and got some good news today from, he just gave me we just got our tax base for next year that we work for budgets, and trust me, we got a lot of needs. So just so everybody knows, our tax base as of fiscal year 2022, our tax base was $4.2 billion. This year, it's $5.1 billion, a 21% increase in property values. So the taxes are generated will be a net increase of $3.7 million. So we got $3.7 million additional to spend this year on our budget. But, inflation's going to take a big hit out of that, but I just wanted, he wanted me to share that with everybody so property values up 21%. So it's tremendous. Amazing. With that, Mr. Rodriguez, anything?
No, nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Okay, last mayor's report. A couple things real quick. Camp Weewa opened on Tuesday to a packed crowd. We had to cut off registration at 110 kids per week for the 9 weeks. So we are completely maxed out on the day camp. So for all those that made this happen, we want to thank you. And I can tell you, Parks and Rec were out there last week, just really making sure that everything, all the, the things that need to be the little final touches were completed. And so I really want a big shout out to Gary and Donnie and the teams that really went out and made that happen. So great job. And along those same lines, I want to say thanks to the Parks and Rec. I know it was Terry and Keith. I don't know if you saw around the front of the memorial there, but they planted red, white, and blue flowers. So I thought that was a really a little extra touch that they did that for us.
Thank you.
Police camp starts in July, and the fire camp starts next week, June the 6th. And last, I just think it was kind of an interesting, it was in the, what is this, Growth Spotter, which they find out things before I find out about things. It's unbelievable. But Trammell Crow is probably the premier developer in the country, is coming to Apopka. Their only, project in Florida today will be in Apopka. It'll be an industrial complex they're putting in behind the Coke and Goya properties. So Trammell Crow's coming to Apopka, and they were, highlighting what they thought, how great Florida and Apopka will be. So, great to have Trammell Crow, who is obviously a leader in industrial development as well as commercial. So we're excited to have them here in Apopka. And with that, we'll adjourn.